fellow crochet pro, my name is Chris and today I'm going to teach you how to make this cute little simple flower. You only need to know 2 stitches really and how to slip stitch, but I'm going to show you how to do those. So let's get started. I'm just going to use a regular acrylic yarn and I'm choosing to use a 5.5 millimeter hook because I'm a very tight crocheter, so I kind of go a size up or so, but use whatever you want. There are no rules in crochet, only suggestions. So to start, we have our basic slip knot that we kind of always start with for most projects. We're going to chain 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to slip stitch into the first chain to make a ring. Slip stitch. Now chain 3. This counts as your first double crochet. So we're just kind of building the height of the double crochets. We're going to continue making double crochets all the way around inside of the ring. So we're going to make 17 more double crochets total. So we'll have 18 including this. As we're doing that, I'm also going to hold this string onto my ring so I can crochet over it to kind of hide it so we can later cut it off. So this is my first double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and go all the way to 17. Okay, I just finished 17 and now we're going to slip stitch to the top of our beginning chain 3. And let me show you a little trick for how I do that because sometimes that's kind of difficult for me. So on our starting chain, there are 3 bumps. Let me show you what I mean with a different color here. And a different hook. So our starting chain looks like this. There are 3 bumps. We have 2 on this front. It kind of looks like a braid. You have a top and a bottom. If you flip the chain over, there is a back bump, right? So to go slip stitch into this, we're going to find that back bump on the back. I like to put my hook through that back bump and pull it out. That makes it easier for me to slip my hook into the correct way. So the correct way would be, we're going to grab those 2 loops, right? But I couldn't do it before because that back bump was too tight. So I just pull it out to loosen it. So now I can fit my hook in through it and slip stitch. That's just a little trick that I like to use because I'm such a tight crocheter. It's really hard for me sometimes to slip stitch into chains like that. So now we are at the point where we will change our color. Books or patterns online or maybe even other videos will tell you to like cut this yarn off right here and then you have an extra string and then you're supposed to like cast on or tie on your next color. What we're going to do is leave the yellow just how it is and we're going to start working our second color without cutting and tying it off right now. So I'm just going to fold it in half. Okay. And I'm going to grab it on my hook and I'm going to pull it through the yellow. So our yellow is still there, just loosey-goosey out of the way. This short end here, I'm going to make sure that I twist and flip up, cross it up between your working yarn and the hook. Now chain 3. What that does, putting it over here, is going to kind of help to lock it in place, okay? We're still going to use our working yarn, but just make sure this is hanging over here and it's been crossed. 1, 2, 3. Now you can pull on that yellow to tighten it down. Okay, that looks pretty great right there. Now what we can do is we can cut this yellow now to kind of release it out of the way. And furthermore, if we flip this over, that first string that we crocheted over, we can cut that short. because we crocheted over it and it's hiding in the stitches now. Okay, so that makes things a little bit cleaner. I find that technique to be a lot faster when I'm working. So now let's start round 2. Now that we've got our color change out of the way. We started by chaining 3. Now we're going to skip the first stitch, which is this one right here, because this was our chain 3, right? And that was our first double crochet. Skip that one, go into the second one and slip stitch. Chain 3 again, 2, 3, skip 1, slip stitch into the next. And you're going to do that all the way across. Chain 3, skip 1, slip stitch into the next. And what this is creating is an anchor for us to build our petal inside of on the next round. Okay, so continue doing that all the way around. Okay, I've come around to the end here. I have one more to slip stitch into. Very good. Okay, we are on our last round. We're going to start that by slip stitching into this first chain 3. What that's going to do is move what I like to call our cursor. So like, you know how on a computer your cursor is basically like where you're going to start typing from. So I'm moving my cursor into the chain 3 because that's where I'm going to start working from, inside of this first petal where we're going to build the first petal. Now for this pattern, you can either use double crochets or trebles. I'm going to use trebles, but if you prefer to make the petals a little shorter, you can use a double crochet. So what we're going to do for each petal, they're going to be built this way. Chain 3. Add 2 trebles. So a treble is just like a double crochet, but you wrap twice. Okay, pull up a loop, draw through 2, draw through 2, draw through 2. We're going to do that again. Wrap twice, pull up a loop, and you draw through 2 3 times. Okay, so 2 once, 2 twice, and 2 3 times. This is kind of the first half of our first petal. So this is like the right side of our first petal. Chain 3 to make the peak at the top of the petal. Add 2 more trebles because now we're starting the left side of the petal. So wrap twice and draw through 2 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Repeat for another treble. Wrap, wrap. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, now our cursor is up here, but we need to get it down here. So we started with a chain 3 over here. So we're going to add another chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And connect it back down to the bottom here. So slip stitch. All right, and that is our first petal. Now, just like at the beginning, we had to get our cursor into the next anchor space for our next petal. So we're going to do that by slip stitching into it, into that space. Now our cursor is moved in the correct position to build the next petal. For each petal, we're going to do the same thing that we just did over here. So that's going to be chain 3, 2 trebles. Sorry, my furnace just kicked on. I know it's kind of noisy. But nothing we can do about that. It's winter. Okay, chain 3 for the peak. 2 more trebles for the left side of the petal. Chain 3 and slip stitch. Now we have our petal, second petal. Move your cursor to the next one by slip stitching. Okay, you're going to continue that all the way around to the end. I made it all the way around. I'm on my last petal. I just did my last treble, so let me finish. 1, 2, 3, slip stitch down. Oops. And we're done. But to finish, I like, just for extra stabilizing purposes, I like to put an extra slip stitch over here. Okay. Now, what you also could do is you could pick up one of these loops on the back and, you know, yarn over and pull through, and that would put this cursor loop onto the back, but I'm not going to worry about that for this one. If that didn't make sense to you, then ignore that. Okay, so we're all done. Now, let's finish it off. I'm just going to cut. I'm going to pull this out. Beautiful. Let's turn her over. Now, from our color change, we have these two still. What I like to do is just tie them together. Just tie a knot, because this is on the back of the flower. It don't matter what it looks like. Now I'm gonna, just to hide them, get a smaller hook, size down, just so it can fit through the stitches better. And I'm just gonna go through these loops here on the side of this petal. I'm gonna grab these. If I can, grab them both at the same time. Just pull them through here and cut them short. Okay, now it's hidden. She gone, she gone, she gone. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one over here. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, so pretty. I hope you liked this. I hope you found this easy and fun to make. I really like this flower a lot. They work up so fast for me. They're so easy, and they look really pretty and kind of unique. A little sunflowery, a little clematis-like for a flower. Okay, so if you like this, like, share, subscribe, but mostly I would like you to just leave a comment and just give me feedback. Let me know if you made it, what you're using them for. I'm curious to know. Okay, until next time, bye.